Okay, so the rest of us kind of we feel like Doug Wheely has made himself look a little foolish, and then been made to look foolish by the Pagulas, the owners of the team. How do you perceive this Bills organization actually covering on a day-to-day?
Well, I think that there needs to be more transparency, and it has to start with the ownership. I mean, the fact that they have, by and large, not spoken to the media sets up situations like yesterday when Doug Whaley is left to answer questions that he's either not qualified or unable to answer because he doesn't know the answers to them.
But why doesn't he know the answers? Like, why isn't, like, you talk about shouldn't they at least be transparent to him if he's going to run their club?
Well, absolutely. But, I mean, if he's to be believed, he didn't learn of Rex Ryan's firing until last week and wasn't involved in the decision to do it. So that's why we need to hear from Terry Pegula. Now, he did speak to the Associated Press yesterday in a phone interview, and that's a step in the right direction. But it would be nice if he would have a press conference, which he has not done since Rex Ryan was hired in January 2015, so that we could get some answers to these questions, particularly if Doug Whaley is not going to be put in a position, as you said, to know the answers, then we certainly need to hear from ownership, because you're right, it didn't make anyone look good yesterday. It certainly didn't make Doug Whaley look good, and it didn't make the organization look good that he was put up there either unable or unwilling to answer pretty much every question that was asked of them.
And this follows, tell me if I'm wrong, okay, because you covered, this follows when they had Anthony Lynn, who's the interim head coach, answering questions about Tyrod Taylor. He really shouldn't have been up there answering those questions. That should have been Whaley or, again, ownership about the benching of Tyrod Taylor. That's the week before, correct?
That's 100% accurate. Anthony Lynn said that he was not involved in the decision to bench Tyrod Taylor and was not in the room when that decision was made, that it was made between Terry Pegula and Doug Whaley, but yet he was allowed to go up on stage at a press conference and answer questions about it, which clearly there would be when you've benched your starting quarterback for the last 2 years. People are going to want to know why you've made that move. And Anthony Lynn couldn't answer those questions, understandably tried the best he could until we got the honesty that he wasn't in the room. So, again, these are all situations that could be avoided on the Bills' part if ownership, would discuss them or allow Doug Whaley to discuss them with knowledge of them. And that hasn't happened. And, again, that's why you see just this avalanche of negativity and reporting on the team from both a local and national level. I mean, from the outside and from covering it day to day, this appears to be a dysfunctional organization that really has no direction right now.
Yeah, it's amazing because the Pagulas are they're from Buffalo. Like, the whole sale was like, we're going to keep in Buffalo. It's all about Buffalo. And there's been no communication or transparency. Forget about national. You got to communicate with the local media that so badly wants you to get back to the playoffs. All right, really quickly, Tyrod Taylor, what do you believe his status is heading into the future?
I think it's going to be up to the new head coach when he comes in as to whether he wants Tyrod Taylor here. He's got a contract that has an option that would make him about the 20th highest payest quarterback in the NFL in terms of cap hit. So it's not an unreasonable number. But if a new coach wants to start over at the position, the Bills can basically walk away with very minimal ramifications to the salary cap. So I truly believe that decision hasn't been made yet, and whoever the new coach is going to be is going to have a big say in it.
How likely is it to be Anthony Lynn?
It's less likely with each passing hour. I think that if Anthony Lynn were going to be the guy, the team would have acted already. The fact that Anthony Lynn is now interviewing for other jobs, and the longer that this process goes on, and considering the situation that Anthony Lynn was put in just last week, I could very easily see a situation where he says thanks but no thanks to the Bills. And as I said before, the longer they drag their feet, the less likely I think he returns.
I got 5 seconds for you. Give me the name of who you think will be the next head coach.
Keep an eye on Harold Goodwin, the offensive coordinator from Arizona. He's got a relationship with Doug Whaley.